Hello, 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 and happy Friday to everyone. I want to thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Today, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Mr. Dedric and Miss Krystal Polite, full-time real estate investors. I am super excited to have you guys on the show today. As you guys know, my name is Miss Lee, full-time real estate investor based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area, and entrepreneur and host of Keys to Success. If you guys would take a moment and introduce yourselves to the viewers.
Yes, thank you for having us on. I'm Dedric Polite. This is my wife.
Krystal Polite. How you guys doing? We are super excited to be here, so we definitely appreciate the invite.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So let's dive right into it. How long have you guys been in real estate investing? How long have you guys been married? Tell us a little bit about the Polites.
So we've been married 5 years. 6 years in September.
Yep. So I bought my first investment property before I met my lovely wife in 2007. I house hacked a triplex up in Boston, lived in the basement unit, rented out the other two units, pretty much paid my mortgage. Still own that property to this day. It cash flows amazingly well, has a ton of equity. And then went back to working in corporate America. And then 2017, we sold a franchise that we were operating, and we dove into real estate investing head first. So,
wow, that's amazing. So, bought the triplex and now full time in real estate. Tell us a little bit about the journey. And I know you guys are big on driving for dollars and incorporating the deal machine. And I hear a little feedback on your end,
yeah, 1 second. Let me turn that off.
So how we actually started, I would say, we both are serial entrepreneurs. So we actually got into entrepreneurship when we originally met. Our first business venture together was Airbnb. So we started actually Airbnb in my apartment at the time. And
this is in 2012.
Yep, 2012. Yeah. We were dating.
Wow.
From there, we went into buying a couple franchises together. And when the franchises ran its course and I said, hey, listen, I think it's time to get out of this. And I know he always wanted to do real estate, really heavy. And that's all he talked about all day, every day. So I said, let's do it. And we took the money that we received from selling the franchises, rolled it into real estate. And we've literally been doing that from that day forward. I actually went full-time in business June 8th of 2018.
Yep.
Wow.
Fired her boss, which was our first goal, was to fire her boss. Again, we were both working corporate America when we first got started in real estate investing. Well, we always wanted to be our own boss. So fired her boss in June 2018, and I was able to leave my job in January of this year. Voluntarily left the job. I was making way over 6 figures. But our real estate business and our various, entrepreneurial ventures was paying a lot more than working in corporate America. So we were blessed, to be able to leave that job, and now we're full-time entrepreneurs.
Wow. So full-time entrepreneurs, tell us a little bit about that first deal. You decide to get out of franchising altogether, and you're like, let's try real estate investing. What did that look like? How did you decide to get the first property? Was it in your market?
Yeah, our first deal, we kind of failed our way forward. Again, I'd always been interested in wholesaling. I talked about it since 2012, 13, 14. But it was always a hesitation. I was like, is it even legal? This is all these great areas I had questions about. My wife was more of the visionary and the, jump off the roof and grow wings on the way down. So she actually pushed us off the ledge. Like, look, we're gonna do this whole real estate thing. So our first deal actually got on the contract and it didn't close, right? We spent 2 or 3 months working on it, didn't close. And then a few months later, we've been working on another deal for almost 9 months, and it did close. We made $11,000 on our first wholesale deal. Wow. And we were, this was in August of 2018, and we were off to the races from there.
Wow. So closed your first wholesale deal. Ms. Polite, you took the leap of faith to say, this is what we're going to do. I'm sure it's legal. Other people are doing it.
Right.
Let's just move forward with it and see how it works out. Can you tell us, what made you how you knew? What was that know of yes, this is it. I know that this will work.
Well, I'm a visionary. So all I do all day, every day is come up with visions for us, our family. And when I met him, I knew he was everything I wanted in a man. So I knew when I met him, I said, listen, I have to trust that he knows what he's talking about. So when all he could talk about was real estate, I said, then that's what you should be doing is real estate, which means that's what we should be doing because I have to support you. So when he kept talking about it, I started doing my research on wholesaling. And once I get into it, you can hang it up. We doing it at this point.
Right.
So once I started researching and started following certain people like our friend Max Maxwell, and that's when I really was like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. And from that point on, I just started building out, because my background is in customer service. So I started building out our dispositions, acquisitions, all the different funnels, marketing. I took marketing full time in the business. So that's what I handle inside the business. And he handles his areas. Anything we don't want to do is outsourced. We make sure we stay within our area of expertise.
Wow, super important. So you knew what areas you were really good at, and you put those in place prior to even as you were just getting started in your business. You were building that foundation to go big in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, we read the book Traction, where it breaks down, the visionary and the integrator. We quickly found out she was a visionary. I'm the integrator type personality. Right. And we built a business plan. We actually joined a mastermind early in our career. Before we'd ever closed a deal, we spent $16,000 joining a high level mastermind, kind of similar to you. And we were like, oh, we're gonna go big or go home, right? Once we spent that $16,000, we put it on credit cards. So we were like, we got no choice because we got to pay back these credit cards that we just put this mastermind group on. And that was really part of the fuel when we learned how to create a business plan, a marketing plan. And we learned that real estate is 90% marketing. It's 10% real estate. And our whole goal was to wholesale, develop a high volume wholesaling business because our ultimate goal was buy and hold and passive income. So we only wholesale to get quick chunks of cash in order to take down cash flow and rental properties. And we've been able to build a portfolio, of several $1 million within about 18 to 24 months.
Wow, that is phenomenal. So reading Traction, Gino Wickman, his book is absolutely phenomenal. So you read the Traction and understood the positions within the company. And then from that point, built it, and now a portfolio of rentals. Like, tell us, how did you transition into that? And was it, I guess that was the vision in the beginning was, hey, we're going to get into this and then we're going to transition into buy and hold.
So actually, we were a little different. So we actually never transitioned into buy and hold. That was our
whole goal from the start.
Goal from the very beginning. That was the only reason we got into real estate was to buy and hold.
Right.
So we used wholesaling as the means. So from day one, from even our very first wholesale check, it went to a rental. So we never lost sight of our end goal. So every single,
we only wholesale to buy and hold.
Listen,
right? We love hold. We don't even like flipping because flipping takes too long.
Right.
We flip occasionally, but we wholesale to buy and hold. Like, our problem is when we get a property on a contract, we try to take down every property as a rental. And quickly you run out of cash doing that. So we're like, okay, well, I guess we got to wholesale this one.
Right. So we try to do it for every 3 or 4 that we wholesale. We make sure we take down a property, and it just depends on, like, now we've transitioned more into multifamilies. So we're picking up single families only in specific areas, and it aligns with our plan. So other than that, we're sticking to mobile home parks, multifamilies, 50, 100 units, things of that nature is what we're doing currently.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And are you only in your market, or are you in multiple markets as well?
We're nationwide. I mean, we talk to people. They're like, I know y'all in North Carolina, but you got properties in Boston, Cleveland. You're doing deals in Atlanta, California. So we look at it like this. There's opportunities everywhere. And because we have a very large following and a lot of people trust us, they reach out to us like, hey, I got a deal in Topeka, Kansas. I got on the contract. I can't find a buyer. Can you help? And oftentimes, because we have a huge network, we can help them find a buyer. We JV on a lot of deals. So, we're pretty much nationwide. We do have focus areas. North Carolina is our home base and our backyard. So we do a lot of deals all over North Carolina. from Charlotte to Greensboro to Raleigh-Durham to Wilmington. But we also do deals all over the U.S. as well.
Boston is also another one of our farm areas because we grew up there our entire life. So that is our neighborhood. That's our backyard to us. So we do a lot of deals in Boston as well. So those are our two main markets.
And we have rentals in 3 different states.
Right.
That is amazing. And I think Robert Kiyosaki said it best in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You will make your most money in your backyard. So it's like, because you know the market, you know the area. So even though you left Boston and you moved, you're still making a lot of money and creating a lot of residual income in that market as well.
Absolutely.
Our biggest deal thus far was in Boston, and we never saw the property. Wow. We sent the guy a postcard. He was an absentee landlord, owned a triplex in Boston, super hot area. All the negotiations were over the phone. We got under contract for $475. ARV was $1.5 million. It was a condo conversion play. We ended up finding a cash buyer for $580. This was our third deal. We made $105,000 on our third wholesale deal, and instantly we were cash buyers. We're like, okay, now we're going to start buying stuff fast.
Right.
Wow, that is phenomenal. So the properties that you're looking at now in your portfolio to hold, is there a certain price point that you stay under with buying, and do you pay cash for all of your properties out? Do you buy it at $50,000 and pay $50,000 for that cash flow rental property?
So we in North Carolina, we focus on that first time home buyer price point. So 100 to 200,000 price point. As far as acquisition, we love leverage. So we love we can use our own cash, but we also leverage other people's money. We have private investors who want to secure a safe return. We also leverage hard money, bank financing as well.
Wow, that is amazing. So I mean, in this short period of time, you guys have built a real estate empire and rental empire as well. What would you say are some of the keys to your success in doing it in such a organized fashion, in such a, what would you say is that keys to success on that?
What are the keys, honey?
I think the key to our success is education. So we invest a lot in education. From before we had ever did one wholesale deal, we had already spent over $100,000 in just education for us. And one of the things that we were both very big on from when we met each other was making sure that we continued to educate ourselves on anything that we were not experts in. And that's kind of what I tell people, it shortened our learning curve from the very beginning. So whereas most people, it's taking them a year, 2 years to figure out this whole industry in this game, it took us 6 months to really, from the moment we said, hey, listen, okay, it took us a year to get our first deal under contract. And that's because he still had a full-time job. I still had a full-time job. We had 3 franchises. So we were kind of like really trying to go into it, but we had so much other stuff going on and distractions. But when we said, hey, listen, this is it. From the moment I quit my job and I went into it full-time, that's when we blew up with contracts. We had 4 contracts that very first week.
Wow.
And I went into it full time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had done deals before that, but now I was able to focus all my attention on it. And that's really because we paid experts. We joined masterminds. We paid experts for coaching and consulting. Yeah. And it shortened our learning curve. So we didn't have a lot of the hiccups. And then if we did, we went to that coach.
Right.
We went to that mentor like, hey, listen, what do we do with this? So that's really what has been the key to our success is education. And I tell people, don't be afraid to make that investment up front because it's going to pay off tenfold in the end.
Yep. How do you guys handle, I mean, I know with education, like I said, I've been in this for 7 years, so I've spent so much money on my education and masterminds and I enjoy it because like you said, you get to learn so much. How do you handle when certain people say, well, I don't know if I should invest in myself, or can you guys train me because I don't really have, like, what do you do in those types of situations? Because I'm sure you guys get that a lot.
I'm sorry, froze up. Well, say the question again.
I was saying, how do you handle when people are saying that they want to be trained or they don't have a lot to invest in their financial, education when it comes to real estate investing? What would you say to someone like that?
I mean, what we say is, first of all, there's a ton of free resources. We get asked all the time questions about how we did it. And that's one of the reasons we created a YouTube channel and we document our process on Instagram, Facebook, all over social media to kind of give people It's been inspiring to many people. We didn't even realize that just sharing our process of how we've kind of grown our portfolio has inspired so many people. But we get DMs and messages all the time. So you can do a lot just going to YouTube University and, taking advantage of free resources. Those are going to get you to a certain point. You might get lucky and close your first deal just from free resources. But there comes a time where you have to invest in your education. You have to invest in hiring an expert and a coach. The best way to do something is by finding someone that's at a high level doing exactly what you want to do and paying them for their time and expertise to teach you the tricks of the trade, right? Yeah. Paying them and modeling their behavior. And that's exactly what we've done and what we coach people to do.
Wow, I love that. So as a power couple, how important is it to be on the same page when it comes to the vision of your business? I'm sure there are other people in real estate and they may not be on that same page. How important is it to be on the same page when it comes to the vision of your business and your family?
It's critical. It's critical to be on the same page and for us to align in our goals. So we make sure that every week we have standing meetings, every quarter we have standing meetings. And we go over our goals. That's one of the biggest things that we do as a couple is we continue to go over our goals and our short-term goals as well as long-term goals. We have 3-month goals, 6-month goals, 9-month goals, because it's critical to make sure that you're hitting these goals and not just saying, oh, we got a year goal. And then people throw those goals out, never look at them. Then the year comes and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot. Didn't we write some goals somewhere? So it's critical that we make sure we hold each other accountable. That's one of the biggest things for us is when we meet and we talk, it is not lovey-dovey and hey babe, how you doing? If we're meeting about the business,
after hours.
Exactly. It's about the business because that way we're able to hold each other accountable. If he's like, listen, where are the leads? I'm not getting leads. He has to hold me accountable for that. And it's like, yo, listen, I'm not seeing anything coming through the pipeline. What's going on? So at this point now, I have to say, okay, listen, give me a second. Let me go back to the drawing board. Let me see what's going on because you should have leads. I just have to jump into action. If I come to him and I'm like, listen, I just supplied you with some amazing leads. Why have they not been closed? What's going on with your acquisition team? Right. Then he has to come to me and be like, okay, listen, this is why this X, Y, and Z is happening. So that's why it's so crucial that you're on the same page from the beginning by holding each other accountable so that you know in the end your goals are being met.
Wow, I love that. Accountability and just having a clear understanding of what the goals are and meeting on a regular basis to have them met.
Absolutely.
Super important. That's kind of like the 12-week year, that book, The 12-Week Year and things like that, just always having that accountability in a shorter period of time. That way it's not like, oh, we have 12 months or we have this whole entire year. Super powerful stuff.
Right. Yeah, to add to that, we have what's called a vision traction organizer, which is from that same book, Traction. And we literally have a 2-page business plan that, we go over weekly, monthly, and quarterly. But we almost don't even have to look at it at this point because we know it's ingrained in us what we're going for, what our vision is. So we're so much on the same page because of that document. It's kept us organized.
So with the VTO from the book Traction, and that, I mean, you have read the book, but you actually continuously implement tools within that book within your life. So it's not, hey, I've read the book, I've read Traction, I know how it works, but you're actually implementing the tools within Traction on a regular basis.
That's the only way it works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And I know Gino Wickman's team, they have implementers that you can hire to come and actually implement the tools within the book into your business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome stuff. So, full-time real estate investors and parents, how important is it in incorporating your children in your business?
It's major to us because we are a family of entrepreneurs. So even before we had kids, I had already told him the plans for our kids.
It's about generational wealth.
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to build, is generational wealth.
And so for us, our kids have to be involved in our business. And we started them so young that they grew up in the business. Mm-hmm. So they're used to it now. And they, when they drive by, they're looking at houses. But I have them early on thinking like entrepreneurs. And I tell my husband, if our kids grow up to be employees, that is our fault, not the school's fault, because the schools are not teaching them to be entrepreneurs. They're teaching them to be employees. So if we want entrepreneurs, we have to take it upon ourselves to make sure that we teach them how to be entrepreneurs. So it is huge for us to make sure that we are involving our children in like every aspect of our business, even down to the finances. Our son asked us yesterday, driving, I think it was, how much money do we have? Because what did we end up buying yesterday? I think we bought another house, and it just happened he was in the car.
He's in the first grade, and he's learning about money and how to count money and finances and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So he was like, how much money do you guys have? And Dedric was like, oh, we have a couple dollars. And he was like, oh, a couple dollars? That's it. So he's really getting a lot more inquisitive, and
it's down to the point where when he sees a "We Buy Houses" sign, he'll see a Bandit sign, and he'll be like, Mom, Dad, is that your sign, or do you know them?
Right.
What's their sign doing in our town? Like, he gets territorial.
Yes.
That is awesome. So, I mean, that is really important information as far as ingraining the entrepreneurial spirit into your child at a young age and not leaving it up to the school system to pretty much, guide them into that direction. Of course, as parents, you want to guide them into the direction in which you want them to go.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow. Very, very awesome stuff.
It is your job as a parent to do that with your children early on.
Yeah. I mean, because the world has changed. I mean, there's no such thing as job security. We both worked in corporate America, had, high paying jobs, but I always knew that, my future and her future wasn't in corporate America. I didn't want my wife working for another man, right? I wanted her working for the family business. So that was our goal from the start, was to earn our freedom from corporate America so we can be our own boss and then pass those traits along to our kids. Now, if they don't want to be entrepreneur, fine, but they're going to be exposed to entrepreneurship and business. So if they choose to, that's what we'll encourage.
Absolutely. And we tell our story a lot. So a lot of people know our first date was a business meeting. So it wasn't, I didn't ask him about, what he liked to eat, his favorite color, his favorite food. It was, what's your credit score? How are you with business? Do you plan to work for someone?
We got down to brass tacks.
Are you an entrepreneur?
The first date, because we knew there was a physical attraction, of course.
Right.
The sparks were there, but we had to make sure we were both mentally aligned as well.
Absolutely, and I had to make sure he was an entrepreneur. And I tell so many couples this when they come up to me, like, how do I get my husband in the business? How do I get my wife in the business? And I say, well, what were they doing before you got with them? Oh, they were working at such and such. Okay, did you have this conversation with them in the dating period? Well, no, not really. I said, okay, well, then they didn't change. You did.
Right.
And you can't change a lot of times you can't change a W-2 mindset into an entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur's mind.
Not everybody's cut out for entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. So you got to have these hard conversations in the dating period. No different than if a woman has children and she goes back out there to date with a man. And now, you have to ease him into, hey, listen, meeting the kids and stuff like that. Absolutely not. I'm saying, hey, listen, this is what it is. What's up there mentally? I mean, I knew he was fine and all, but I need to know what was up inside his head mentally as far as entrepreneurship. He's very intelligent, but I need to know where his mind was surrounding entrepreneurship.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. So important. And I mean, in business and in life, having that clarity and making sure that when you are meeting other people and you're courting someone, that clarity is there with regards to the important stuff. Because a lot of times people may meet and they don't have that conversation about the important things such as future, like you said, credit score, the vision for the family, all of those are super important.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So critical. And I was actually just having a conversation about that with my assistant earlier, just as far as just having those important conversations need to be had before people start life. Other than that, it may become a big old mess because there's no structure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you always say, start how you want to finish.
Absolutely.
Right? A tiger's not going to change their stripes. If you are trying to convert somebody to an entrepreneur, you knew when you met them that wasn't in their DNA.
Yep.
There's going to be conflict there.
Absolutely. You got to start how you want to finish. And you got to start asking these questions before you say the I love yous. And I'm saying it before I say I like you.
Right.
Our conversation is starting from the very beginning. And I tell so many women to stop wasting time. I have so many girlfriends who've wasted 10, 15 years with guys and are like, oh my God, I wasted my best years. Yes, because you didn't do that vetting in the beginning. I tell people sometimes you take longer to choose a pair of shoes at the store than you do choosing a man to be with forever.
Right. And I think that goes to say, like, even though to those who may be the W-2 employee, that's not to say that you cannot be with an entrepreneur,
Right.
but there has to be that plan in place to say, okay, I'm going to work, you're going to do this money's going to go there, and there's clarity as far as what's happening. And then if you choose to continue to still work, then that's an option. And so we're not saying here to our viewers that we're casting out all W-2 employees. We're just saying, if you are a W-2 employee and there's an entrepreneur, you just want to have that clarity no matter where you work or what your vision is for your life, that there's clarity for the future.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how we started.
Go ahead.
No, we both had jobs when we started. We both had demanding corporate careers. We were very successful.
Wow.
Again, nothing wrong with working a job. But like you said, if you're going to marry or be with an entrepreneur, you got to understand the sacrifices that go along with that. So the other partner has to understand that.
Wow.
Absolutely. And no one's trying to change anyone 5 years in.
Wow. Super powerful stuff. Very, very powerful. So, I mean, we've covered a lot of topics. What would you say are some of your final words or final keys that you would give to someone just starting off in real estate, where they're just getting started and they're like, you know what, I think I want to, what would you tell someone just getting started?
I would say it's all about marketing, especially if you're looking to get into wholesaling and flipping houses. How do you find motivated sellers? That should be your main question, right? You have to figure out marketing. So the first thing is to figure out, your lead generation strategy, whether you're going to do cold calling, text messaging, driving for dollars. We've done all of that, but it's a marketing business. So if you don't know how to market, you're going to have a very hard time closing your first deal and closing deals consistently. So I would say figure out and learn motivated seller marketing.
Wow. Powerful stuff. And for you, Krystal?
I would say make sure that before you go into the business, you have a clear understanding.
But basically, we got here today on the Tuesday section, where we hear every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today, here's our absolute pleasure to interview the Polite on the show. Super excited to have them as they discuss some of their keys to success in being a successful power couple, investing in real estate investments and buying real estate in their market. Does anyone have any questions? I think they're coming back up. Are there any questions for our viewers? Or for our guests that we had on the show for today. And I want to thank Cedric for tuning in. I want to thank Christina. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Devon Franklin, thank you so very much for tuning in today. Alexandra, thank you so very much for tuning in today. Lamar, thank you for tuning in today. Diane, thank you for tuning in today. And Don Jacobs also. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in today. Like I said, we had some technical difficulties going on with the live. Not really sure what's going on, but hopefully they will join us again here to close off. It's been an absolute pleasure having them on the show today, covering some of their keys to success in business and in life when it comes to real estate investing and buying properties and raising a family and just having that clarity. And to our viewers, some of the books that they mentioned was The Traction by Gino Wickman. Really amazing book. And like I mentioned, they do have integrators that you can hire from the book Traction across, and you can hire them. A lot of times their prices are about $5,000 to have an integrator actually come into your business and help you with establishing, the roles within your company and the vision for your company, putting your BTO together and implementing that BTO so that you have that continuous structure within your business to grow and grow your brand the way that you see fit. And it's not just for real estate investing. You can use the BTO for any type of business. And the book Traction really works very well for any type of business as well. But as I say, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is your girl, Miss Lee, coming to you live where we air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Keys to Success show. And on Fridays, we highlight power couples, Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. as well. Until next time, I am not quite sure what happened to the Polites, but it was an absolute pleasure to have them on the show today. The interview was absolutely amazing. And until next time, you guys have a great afternoon. And I look forward to speaking with you guys soon. Thank you.